Hello and welcome to Bridget's Cottage. Here's a little update what's been going on in Bridget's world in her little cottage. I've been making some decorations in the cottage, and as we pan round I hope you can see these little cases which are like the taxidermy cases, and there's a stuffed fish at the top there. Let's just get a light round, as you can see on the top there. And these were quite hard to make, although it's just a basic shape. They are quite hard to get even, so I may be making some more with an in-depth tutorial at some point. Also, to show you, we've got the lights up, which are battery lights. They just pop up onto the ceiling, and as long as you've got magnets around the cottage or your house, you can switch them around or change them, but I quite like the look of those. They're quite cottagey. The other thing I've made is these little horse brasses. They're quite easy to make. All you do is get the strap, which is a strap of leather. It's just brown card paper, craft paper, and horse brasses is air dried clay that's been stamped with a design. I'll try and get a close up of a design, and then painted a brassy gold colour. And I think it makes it look quite cosy. The other things I've been doing, we'll take a look at the taxidermy cases in a minute. I'll take them off of the shelf and I'll show you how I did them. The other thing is my herb rack. There it is up there, and all the herbs that are hanging there. In the intro video, or is it the other video I put up? I don't know. But in this video, there's part of the video where they were freshly cut and all the leaves are open. But as you can see, since I finished the video, they've dried up a bit, which was what they're meant to do. The dried herbs that she uses. And in here I've got these are just papery leaves, but also I've got some dried lavender, which when I put it in here, it really smelled lovely. It smells nice now. You can still get a whiff of it every now and again. And on here I've got marjoram, lemon balm, what was the other thing? Herb Bennett and vervain hanging there. Let me just light that up. That's better. And I think that's a really nice little rack for drying over the sink. Another thing I've made is this little jug on the mantelpiece that's well and truly stuck down. with tacky wax. This was just air dried clay. It was just a experiment, really. It's not too bad, but I think I need some practice. A rustic jug for the cottage. So that's my updates at the moment. Going into the hallway, we've got the dog's box underneath the stairs. Let's get the dog's box, which I've done a video on making the baskets, and dog boxes and linen baskets. So try and look that one out if you're interested. It's very, very easy. And once you get started making baskets, this is made out of string. You can make them out of just cardboard and wool, all sorts of things. But I think it looks really comfortable in there. There's the hallway. It's coming along now. We've still got the upstairs to complete. There's the bathroom, the study. Go through the door. That's Bridget's bedroom. But let's go back to these cases. Taxidermy. It's not real taxidermy. There's not a stuffed animal in there because, well, that would be something if you could do that in for a doll's house. I don't think I'd even attempt to stuff a sardine. But here we are. We'll do another little take and I'll show you the boxes close up, the cases close up. There they are. It was a bit of a learning curve, and when I found an easier way of making these little boxes, I'll do a tutorial on it, but I'll show you them close up in a mo. Catch you in a minute. Sharon. Hello, and we're back again, and here are the cases, the taxidermy cases, and of course they're not little animals inside. For miniatures, it's just a picture that I managed to fit inside the box. I've got the owl there, and I've got a little hare running through woodland, and at the bottom I've stuck some fill-in that's been painted green for some grass. And this one is, I think this is my favourite, is the faux stuffed fish. A perch, I think it's a perch, which you used to see a lot of these taxidermy cases olden times. I'm just trying to get a good picture. This has been, the fish was a little picture, and I backed it onto card, and then I gave it a coat of glossy accents because a lot of them were heavily varnished after they'd been placed into their cases. The cases were quite tricky. To begin with, I thought, well, this is an easy thing to do, which it is usually, I would think it is usually, but this basically, these two were matchbox, was one matchbox. This is the bottom matchbox, which I painted black all round, and I got some PVC sheet, clear sheet, like you use when you've got a new mobile phone and you've got a piece of that plastic left over. Then the hard part is bending it over so that it fixes to the front of the box, and then sticking it to the cardboard. I thought my tacky glue would stick it, but it didn't, so I had to wipe it all off and use super glue in the end, which I don't use a lot of, but it seems to work quite well. So that was the bottom of the matchbox. This was the top of the matchbox. It would slide in like this, but I cut the apertures round. I cut a rectangle out of each side except the bottom, because you don't see the bottom, and the bottoms of these tanks were usually solid anyway. And then I painted it black, the edge is black, but I thought to myself, well, they would used to have metal frames and it didn't look very metallic, so first of all I used some black, sticky black plastic, quite thin. It worked, but it was too shiny. I think the metal on the taxidermy cases were more matte, had more of a matte finish. So the same thing was PVC plastic, clear plastic, bent over so that it fills the sides either way. Can't really give measurements because all boxes will be different, so I can just tell you how I did it. I put the plastic on there, then bent the sides over to make the little box. And then I used, what's it called now? It's on the tip of my tongue. The tape, electrical tape, because that's more matte. It's sort of like a matte black, and that was a lot better. I got a bit stuck up with the glues and things, but that's not unusual for me when I'm making things. And then we've got the lovely fish with I did a little bit of card, painted some card of some sort of sandy soil, and it's got like the stuff in painted green to make it look like seaweedy stuff in the water. And it's not a billy bass, it doesn't sing and move its tail, it's just a taxidermy fish, and I'm quite proud of them all really. It's an idea that I will take further, I think, and try to make maybe flower terrariums, I think they're called that. Well, they used to have like little houses shaped like little greenhouses and have flowers growing inside. But I hope you like these little taxidermy models, taxidermy display cases, that's it, taxidermy display cases. And I'm sure you can think of something you can put in yours when you make one. It was a fun idea, and I'm going to have another go at doing it with some different things to go inside for Bridget's study. Maybe a skeleton of an animal, or some toadstools, or a fox or a badger. Anything like that would be really lovely. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one. There's a little slideshow of the summer herbs in Bridget's kitchen after this, and I hope you'll subscribe and like and leave me a comment. Tell me what you'd like to see in a display case. So I'll see you on the next one. Blessings from Bridget's Cottage, and have a lovely time in the sunshine. Catch you later, Sharon.